Hello, everybody. Skippity dippity doc. It's a Superman Lois episode. Retrospective, episode 5. I know what I'm doing. It's the best of Smallville. I wanted to surprise you with a random burst of words that don't make sense. How's everyone doing today? It's Jake. It's Lance. It's me.
Shut up. Let's move on. Darren. This is not the best of Darren.
Skippity dippity doc is crazy.
Wait, I didn't know we were sponsored by Dippin' Dots. What is this?
Yeah,
but I am good. I am good.
Doing pretty good.
Doing good. I'm always happy to jump into some more Superman and Lois.
Yeah, and just hang out with our super friends on a Wednesday evening, which is a Saturday evening for you guys watching this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife caught me, came in when I was watching the episodes last week, and she just stopped. She says, "Oh, you guys just needed to add one more thing, huh?" I said, "Yeah." Then she said, "Anyway, what episode is this?" Then sat down and started watching it.
Hey, you know what? Tell her to blame me. I suggested the whole thing.
No, it's gone back into my weekly tradition again, which I've missed a lot. I got really touched this week. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm watching weekly Arrowverse stuff again. I was like, this is really nice. I really missed this feeling.
And when this show started, we weren't all well, I don't even think we had met yet, and we weren't all doing this.
No.
So this is kind of a new way to go about it.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And I also think I don't know, stuff just happened as of recording this in the world of pop culture that's sad and depressing, and I think these last couple months have been like that. I think it's such a perfect show to watch right now of just hey, things are going to be okay. Hey, the world's shit, but it's going to get better. So I feel like a show like this is very important now.
And I think not only that, but it was released right in the heart of a pandemic, which was definitely when the world was at a low point, and at a show like this was needed. But with everything that has been going on in the world lately, as kids, whenever we would see all these scary times, not to get too meta before we get into things, but as kids, whenever we would see all these scary times ahead of us, those of us that were into fiction, we would look at these stories of these great heroes to lean on to. And I think that's why we and so much of the world are so smitten on these characters and these portrayals, and just rewatching this week to week, that feeling gets further amplified.
I think especially at the time, I think we needed it at the time, especially just as Arrowverse fans, because that was kind of a really rough time to be an Arrowverse fan, to be a CWDC fan. You could say that they kind of joined at a bit of a low point, as Deadpool would say, but it was thank God we had Superman Lois or Stargirl, or the last half of the Arrowverse stuff would have been a bit depressing, I feel like.
Well, that got a little bit heavy.
Just like this episode was a little bit heavy, I'd say.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit. Aaron, you want to kick things off?
Sure. I mean,
be great and powerful, Darren.
We have a new template, as Lance have said. Not to you guys. I don't know why I said that, but
he said it to us. Not you guys. Not you guys.
We're gonna start with some of the things that we loved about this episode, then go into some of the things we didn't like so much, if there is any, and then what you said, overall thoughts at the end. Anything we missed that we didn't talk about? Sounds good. Let's start with you, Jake. With just what's some things about this episode that you enjoyed or liked or got hard watching? I don't know, as Lance would say.
What
am I doing?
So I asked him to kick it off, and then he says, "No, you kick it off. Uno reverse." So yeah,
I just woke up.
No worries. No, I mean this show it continues the whole theme that's
hard is
restated at the start of every episode during the previously on, where you hear that voiceover from Lois where she goes, "Let's focus on what we came here for, family." And this just shows you another layer of family where it's Clark wanting to, and I feel like a lot of parents feel like this at one point or another, where they want to pass on the traditions that they grew up with, the good parts, not the bad parts that they want to change, but they want to pass up the good traditions that made them into who they are and let their kids experience those in sort of the same way, but also a different way, because we're not going to experience something the exact same way that our parents did. And that's just going to be the way it naturally goes. And with Jonathan and Jordan, growing up a little bit differently, obviously they're not going to experience it the same way. In fact, they're even kind of put off. They're like, "Oh, this sounds boring. Why would we want to go and do this in this crappy old town? This sounds stupid." They're just so against it. And you can see just the earnestness of Clark, where he's trying to really, sell the whole concept of, what do they call it, a harvest fest, or like he really wants them to have that same amount of time he did, but he doesn't. It kind of takes him through. It takes him the course of the episode to realize that they're not him. Not only in regards to who he is underneath the glasses, but just who he is as Clark. They're not that same person. So I love that back and forth, and it's always kind of refreshing too whenever Clark is able to learn one of those lessons through his kids. I love that part of the show.
I do really love that backflash sequence, because you do have, like, I think Jordan and Jonathan are going through very similar things to what he's dealing with the flashbacks. A little bit with the Jordan, where it's just like, well, I like this girl, but she's dating this guy, and I'm really struggling with like that dynamic and what that is. And then you do have like the more so like the Jonathan side, which Jonathan has always taken more to Clark than he did Lois, I'd say. I'd say that Jonathan was more Clark, and then Jordan was more Lois, and we'll talk more about that as we go through the series a bit more. But like, I do love the parallels, and there's that fantastic scene where, at the time I remember being a little frustrated with, but like now I can look back on it and be like, his outburst was so justified in how he's feeling, and like you see the slow burn. Like, if you're paying attention, you see these little things weighing on him and weighing on him and weighing on him, but he's not saying anything because he's a good son and a good brother and a good guy and a good player. And now it's just kind of like, it's all come on him all at once. And it's like, oh, like this is a weight that's hard for anyone to bear.
It gets too much. Yeah.
It gets too much. And I think it's such a realistic way to write teens, where it's like, oh, but he said this in this episode, so he's okay. And it's like, sure, but it's okay for teens to have multiple emotions on said thing. He can be happy for Jordan, for the football team, and for having a girlfriend, but also be frustrated it's not him as well. Like, I like the layers of that. I think is fascinating.
A lot goes on up here in a teen's brain. A lot goes on. Lance, what you got?
Well, for me, immediately what brought like joy and like a smile to my face is just Tyler Hoechlin's portrayal of this version of Clark.
Positives.
His jovial like nature towards like bringing this version of Clark, a older version of Clark, one that has kids, one who's wanted to show his sons this whole lifestyle. And I get why he's overly eccentric. It's because this is what he's trying to do. Like, he wants to be more involved in the boys' lives. He wants to be more, he hasn't been to a harvest festival in years. He has not been back to Smallville. He hasn't had the time. Because, well, he's literally this world's protector. So seeing this earnedness, this excited, like his inner child literally coming back out, like, it brought a smile to my face. And to like Tyler, nobody can ever take Tyler Hoechlin's acting ability away from him. No. He embodied this character week in and week out with so much enthusiasm. If Clark is upset, you can feel that. If Clark is happy, you can feel that. If he's sad, you can feel that. If he's scared, etc., you can feel it with each line, with like his facial expressions. I love just hearing him describe Harvest Fest to his kids, and how he used to describe it to Lois, and their little playful husband and wife banter. And just the way that I can tell they took their time when casting this family, because the banter, it feels real. It's like you're watching somebody's home video, if I could say it like that. I love the banter, but I love the banter between them.
There's that scene with Lois where like they were like the kids are making fun of Clark and she's like oh fuck, I shouldn't have laughed, and like that felt so natural and real. And like there are multiple points in this episode that I think this may have been. I liked him previously. Obviously, he was great in the first 4 and also in like the other shows as well. And I fell in love with him, like even on Supergirl. But I think this was the episode where I'm like, oh, he is perfect. Like there's these like little tiny things. There's that line that I quote all the time from him where it's like, chocolate covered bacon, so good. It's like he's a little fucking nerd. There's that scene with like him and Jordan. So it's like, this wouldn't happen via date, would it? Yeah.
Well, I love that. I love that stuff.
He's like an excited dad that's being playfully pushy. I love those parts, and I think my favorite part, bro. I think my favorite part from him in the episode is like he has so much great dialogue, but I think my favorite part doesn't even have a line from him. It's where he's staring out the window, and then it flashes back so seamlessly to the younger Clark staring out the window, and you can just see the parallels of what they're going through at that moment in their lives, and it's just it's done so perfectly. It shows the cardinal rule of storytelling, which is show, not tell. There's not a single word spoken as that scene transitions, but you understand everything.
It's so good. And I also love that like ending part 2 when like he's like dishing out the like punishment for Joy, or he's saying why he's not giving a punishment for Joy, and he's doing this, and like he walks away. Beautiful scene. Loved what they did there. Maybe we can talk about that more in a second. But Lois is just like soft. He's like, I know. Just like he's like a little child who just got in trouble by his mom. It's like it's so good. But just these little things.
It makes sense though, because like the punishment isn't the point of that scene. So like that's not the message that he's trying to convey.
Yeah.
So
he's trying to do better with it than his mom did. Like his mom struggled with that concept, and it pushed Clark away a little bit, and it drove a wedge between him and his mom. It's like, I can't let that happen. And I love just like the show has such a great messaging of like communication that so many shows lack in its characters and what they do, and Clark and Lois have that down to a beat, and not always, and when they don't, they address that, like, oh, we should talk about this more. But like I like
they should talk about it.
It's like him sitting down and being like, listen, I know this is tough, I know this is not ideal, but just give us some time and then come back to us. Just try a little bit harder, and then we will try our best to make this work, and we will talk about this again. And it's not we will let you go because this is what you want. It's like we will talk about it. And I think what he means by that is like we will maybe consider going back if that's what's best for our family, if that's what's best for you. Like I love that little stuff. It's so the writing is so good.
Yeah, this family and Clark and Lois as a couple, they have their falling outs, they have their issues, but it feels like a real family. And Clark and Lois, they feel like an actual real relationship that could last the 20 years up to that point that it has lasted, where like they have disagreements, they have things that they don't agree on, they have an argument here and there, but there's not like a new piece of drama that arises that they use to make the other feel guilty every episode, like so many of those shows did. They're not constantly throwing the other's misgivings in their face, because that's insanely toxic. And after watching a number of those other shows where the primary you
have history with it. Good. Sorry.
Like just the primary relationships on those shows were just toxic as hell in comparison. So seeing Clark and Lois act like this is incredibly refreshing.
So, and that's one thing that this show will always have over every single Arrowverse show. The writing on how you handle kids. They chose the perfect. They chose the perfect age. They chose the perfect age for the kids. They didn't do what the Flash did, where you brought in Nora and she's like 30 something, acting like a 12-year-old.
Like
and even Arrow did that eventually.
With William was written horribly. Then you bring in Mia, and she's just this insufferable tough girl. And then you bring in
Sam's
adulthood.
daughter,
Yeah,
Ruby from
yeah,
Supergirl. Yeah.
Ruby,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
Superman and Lois knew how to hit that through line, and Todd Helping had really redeemed himself in writing these characters. And honestly, just sitting here thinking about when we first got introduced to just Jonathan, at least a version of Jonathan, the one from the Arrowverse, it's random, but it makes me think about Fantastic Four First Steps, where you have the powerful family, the powerful character going off, and then they have to send their son, they have to go find their son. It's probably like it's the prodigal son of it all. Like they had to go find this kid. They couldn't let this Kryptonian baby just be out there. It made me think about that, and this show makes me wonder how would this have played out if it were set on Earth Prime.
Yeah.
How would this have played out?
And I think there's a lot of story beats they wouldn't have been able to tell.
Yeah, it's a whole lot they wouldn't have been able to tell. I get aging them up.
It's the best decision they could have made.
The best decision they could have made, but at the same
adding
time,
another kid.
Yeah, like that was the best decision at making them twins, aging them up. But at the same time, one of the worst decisions they did was they did not let that be known. That's what I hate from like networks and TV producers when they just have people assuming stuff and then they say, "Oh yeah, you're gonna find out." Then we gotta wait until the end of the next season to find out. It's I know I'm jumping around, but it's just like I was just sitting here when you guys were talking. I'm thinking about how well they handled this family. An entire episode could have been just the family dealing with an issue, just sitting in their living room. And then at the same time, once Jordan Elsas, fades out and you bring in Michael Bishop, he fits seamlessly.
I don't know how they did it in such a short amount of time too. Like it wasn't like, okay, we're having all these auditions. It's like, no, we need him now. Like get him in here. Like they were very rushed on time. And there's no judging them if they didn't get a good fit, if they just got some, like random guy, right? Because they didn't have much of a choice, or even if they had to write him out, which would have really, really sucked.
Right.
But I also wouldn't have blamed them either, because it's like it was a last minute thing. Contracts were, I'm not gonna say they were broken, but it definitely didn't seem like a typical situation that you would see in a situation like this. So it was like they got damn lucky.
Yeah. It still felt like the same character. The only difference is he arguably looked more like Jordan's brother.
And it's no hate to this, our current actor, because he is incredible. But I slightly like Michael Bishop more. I don't know, he slips right into the role. It's like, whoa, this is kind of crazy.
It's hard to tell the difference sometimes.
It's
hard to tell the difference sometimes.
The way he talks, the his vocal cadence. It's like he literally was like, okay, let me lock in. Let me study how Jordan Elsas played this character. And he did his research. I can't.
By episode 2, I didn't even notice. It was
major props to him.
Seamless. It was just and I've never done that with outside of maybe Rhodey from Iron Man, just because we had so much more of that Rhodey than the other Rhodey. But it's that's the only one where it doesn't bother me, or I don't really notice that much when it happens.
One of the major things I wanted to say for this. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was gonna say one of the major things that I loved about this episode that I just love as a Superman staple is when you get to the actual action bits in this episode and he's first that shot when he breaks through the ceiling and lands and you just see the imposing stance. I love it whenever they do that. They do it a lot in the show, but it never feels old whenever they do. It makes Superman feel like that imposing but also heroic figure that he is known to be. And during the action bits where he is, going, it's Derek, right, that he's going against.
Derek Powell,
yeah. First of all, when they get shot out of the sky by Luthor, I don't know how no one saw that.
That's the thing that bothered me. I'm about to talk about that.
I don't know how no one saw that, but I love how even in those moments whenever Derek is about to die and it's about to be over, Superman still tries to save him. He still tries to save those people that he's fighting, whether they are intentionally villainous or not.
Yeah.
And he because he cares so much about people in the world, and they show that character trait of his so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
sorry.
And I think that brings me to one of my one of my dislikes, because last week in my dazed confusion, I had started talking about like how
you watched both.
how rewatching it, I now have a better understanding on like how the whole eradication and putting the Kryptonian consciousness versus just getting exposed to XK and getting powers worked.
Yeah.
Because when Derek Powell is in the shelter, and again, watching Clark's reaction to finding out that like all the donations were destroyed, like he put his heart and soul into that. And I felt so bad because like half of that stuff from his childhood, like his mom's stuff too, like finding out that all of that was destroyed, but finding out that, oh, okay, Derek is with Leslie Lar, but at the same time, she's most likely just using him to bring back her true Kryptonian lover. And I'm like, oh, she's trying to get the process to stick. That's why he does not have control. But then when you get into learning that the government in season 2 is trying to make more Kryptonian human hybrids, they're not doing the full process. They're just exposing these kids to XK, just like with the gas. So finding out like that there's like you can go through a full process or you can go through a partial one is something that I did not understand initially. Initially, when I was watching it, I'm thinking that, oh, it was a drop plot thread and they were just, shoehorning something in. And it didn't bother me, but I better understand it now.
Yeah.
And a huge thing I did not dislike is I don't think you needed Luthor in that moment. Let these two Kryptonian beings duke it out, because at the end of the day, they still didn't try to see, oh, hey, who just shot me? Like, and honestly, that was like red solar radiation, right?
Was it?
It was red, and it knocked them out the sky.
It might have been.
It was just like so random. Like he's just like, John, like you're just out there. And
And the only other stuff you saw from him in that episode was
the Lois bits.
Yeah, the Lois bits, which those were definitely setting up the reveal you get with that character very well.
That's such a good reveal, and I think it's, in a weird way, it's almost better when you think it's Luthor, because that's like a crazy shit to me, where it's like, oh, Lois Lane and Lex Luthor, it's Smallville all over again with Lana. Oh my god.
And like when you look at the fact that the relationship that you showed in the prior flashbacks, whenever you saw that he and Sam actually had a connection, it's weight. You're like, Lex Luthor and Sam Lane, and then it's like, oh, Lex and Lois, and
because it's father-in-law. It's like it all makes a lot of sense. And they do such a good job of making you fall in love with this character. A character we thought was Lex Luthor at the time. So it's like kudos to them on making us be like, oh man, I sympathize with this guy, and he's clearly a nice fella. He's not this like evil mastermind trying to take over the world. It's just something very personal to him. And I was thinking like this week, I was like, you know what? You see, he's not a bad guy. Why don't you just go talk to him? Why don't you have like a conversation? But the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, but would I, like if I'm hunting down this alternate version of someone who killed my family, would I sit down and have a pleasant conversation with them?
Right.
No, probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. Like if that's the only face and the only history of that person you have to go off of, then you're gonna have those blinders on. It's just natural instinct.
It's like, it's like going into an alternate reality and be like, well, that's Hitler from like a alternate world, and in this one he saves people. He's the savior, and it's like,
because you see,
no, it's fucking Hitler.
I won't like spoil this all directly, but I mean the show's been up for all. But whenever you see, I think it's in the episode that the big reveal happens. Clark hears the AI say that name, and he immediately turns because of the reaction that name has for him. And that just tells you, like, I don't think that they needed to drag it out more than they did. I think they gave it a good amount of episodes.
Perfect about,
But had they, had Clark had more time to sit with that name, I wonder what his response would have been.
My response would have been, so you're still bald, but you're black.
Yeah, that was and we do technically have the first name drop of a Lex Luthor himself in this episode.
Yeah.
At the time,
he
assumed it was John Cryer.
Yeah,
which was crazy.
So glad it wasn't.
But like, I do really like that performance. Like looking back on it, because he's very nonchalant because he doesn't think he's Lex Luthor. He doesn't think anyone else will think he's Lex Luthor. Lex is just a name, and he's just like, oh yeah, Lex, blah blah blah. You know, he's just like a billionaire to him. But to us, it's like, that's you, man. You're Lex Luthor. It's like, no.
Right.
You know, no. That was never actually the plan, which is very interesting.
They had so much forethought to this, and it shows.
It's so good, yeah.
So well planned out.
Another. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead. No, it's fine.
I was just gonna say, there's another like little moment I really appreciated from Betsy Pollock, where there's that scene where like Jonathan has just been broken up with. Jordan's like he's grumpy. His girlfriend just broke up with him. Lois instantly, in like a millisecond, runs off because like I love that like instinct to her as a parent is like, my baby just got broken up with for the first time. I need to make sure he's okay. There isn't a second. There isn't like a millisecond. It's like, nope, my baby needs me. Are you okay? Do you need, you know, I love that. Just like you see it in her eyes, just like as a performer, it's like, nope, they need me right now. It doesn't matter what we're talking about, what we're going through. This is what I need to do in this moment. And I love that scene a lot.
I just want to say, I hate Eliza or whatever her name is, because her breaking up with him on that day in particular,
that's rough.
That was bogus, but it led to what I disliked about the episode, which was, I get that you have to have the drama.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I completely get it. But I don't like that it had to come at the expense of bringing up trauma for Sarah. It makes for good TV. It makes for good drama. But Jonathan, you know what Sarah dealt with. You know what she tried to do to herself. You know that already. So you coming up with the other dudes that initially treated Jonathan like, treated Jordan like shit. You come out with them, the guys on the football team. You're drunk. You're acting all out. You know Sarah has dealt with that. You know what she deals with her parents. You know this stuff. You know this stuff. You're friends. For you to come up just because you're having a shitty day and purposely mess with them, like I said, we didn't. I get it, makes for good TV, but we didn't need to see that. We didn't need that. I felt as if.
I'd argue that's the entire point, though, is that like he is wrong, like he is the bad person. Actually, they're both kind of in the wrong a little bit, where it's like, again, Jordan is having a bad day. This is the wrong decision, and you know, like, and I like that instantly he knows what he did, and I love that. That's what I like about that scene.
He snapped out of it like right away. Shit.
You can argue the drama, but just that instant realization of, I just screwed up bad, and he immediately goes back to that thing. And then Jordan's like, he's not quite over it, but he's like, you know what?
He's like, you're more important,
right? Yeah. Like, there's nothing to be gained by holding this over your head, so I'm just gonna move on from it.
And as Jordan also protects him with the parents as well. It's like, it's not a big of a deal. He's okay. It's like, no, he puts himself right in the fire of that too, is which I really love their bond. And then like on the other side of it,
that little detail of where Clark can smell his drinking, I thought was priceless.
He said, he just put his head. He said, I'm like, and the fact that like Jonathan, you know, he can smell that. Jonathan walks up, he's like,
yeah. Well, then Lois speaks up and she goes, your dad can smell it. I can smell it. The whole town can smell it. Like, jeez.
And then you also have like the other side of it, just to tackle on just a little bit more here. Like the Sarah side of things, I also think is interesting because I thought she was also just a little bit in the wrong, a little bit. The way she's like, no, like just because you have a bad day doesn't mean you can take it out on other people, which she's right. But also there was that aspect of like, okay, other people are allowed to have a bad day. Like, it's not a pissing contest. Like, he's also allowed to have a bad day. But I like that she addresses it at the end, being like, I shouldn't have done that. That wasn't right.
Yeah.
And again, that's like, you're allowed to have not shitty writing, but like you're allowed to have shitty character moments if you address it in the episode, where it's like, oh no, the point is that they were shitty for a moment and they know they're shitty.
Yeah.
And like that's
realistic.
The point of
they
it.
Grow.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that stuff a lot, even though I do understand it was a little bit like, oh, all right, but it's like it makes sense though to me personally.
Yeah.
Did we cover all the major points? I think we did.
I think we did. Yeah. The
Yeah.
main points. We have our
nothing I'm like.
we have our first actual death.
Yeah. With Derek, yeah.
Yeah. We
I
have
will
the
say
ending as well.
I'll say I love the way that I don't think it's the last scene of the episode, but it's one of the last scenes where they show the Martha Kent bench with the plaque on it. I love that
Dude.
so much. That got me in the feels.
That like almost every week, to be honest, I've got like just a little bit like emotional towards the show. I don't know if it's like a little bit of like nostalgia,
and we know
a
it's
little bit,
coming.
or
Yeah,
it's like that's such a beautiful scene, and then how it parallels. Like it's not necessarily that he got the like bench, which is a nice scene, but it's how you flash back and Clark is just like so disconnected from reality and doesn't say goodbye to his mom, and she's holding back tears, and then it flashes back to Clark and Lois, and he's dealing with something very similar with Lois' family. It's like, oh god, all right, this is peak.
yeah.
Oh my
they
goodness.
know what they're doing. And they ended like in the middle of that fight scene, if you want to call it, and we see where that picks up later. And I guess that's probably where we'll start the next week's retrospective off, because it literally picks up right into it.
Yeah, season 1 has 12 episodes? So
season 1 has 15 episodes.
Oh, does that have 15? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, never mind
this
then.
was the season that got added. They had added episodes, which is what I loved. But I can't wait till we get to that episode till we get to episode 13, because you can tell that was originally meant to be the finale. I can't wait to actually like take a look back and see how I look at it through the lens of like being a critic and reviewer. I can't wait till we get there.
Right.
Yeah, I think going forward, like these are really good episodes. I think we've loved every episode so far. I feel like from this point forward, it does get a lot bigger in scale and a lot bigger in storytelling, where it's like, oh, these are kind of the more chiller episodes of Superman and Lois. Where going forward, it's like, oh, we're really diving into the John Henry of it all, to the Morgan Edge of it all.
But it goes deeper at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're a couple episodes away from one of my favorite episodes of the whole show, so I'm excited.
And I think you and I are thinking of the same favorite episode.
We'll see.
But also, I will say, I'm not going to spoil it, but for everybody who knows, this next episode coming up has one of my favorite moments of the entire show. I'll go ahead and say that. I
agree. Let's see if we're talking about the same one.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a good time to wrap this thing up. You guys are watching this on my channel. I've got Lance and Darren's linked. Lance, I'm assuming the people watching on yours, you've got mine and Darren's linked. And Darren, you're not putting it on your channel.
Nope. But when the season's done, I'll do a season compilation of all the episodes. So
there you go.
To that.
So
you will. I'm looking up at your greatness, Darren.
Yeah.
And yours too, Jake.
And I'm looking down upon you.
Oh,
I didn't say it.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it is what it is. But I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up, guys. The next time you see my setup, it'll look relatively different. I have to get this new desk in here before my wife kills me. Yeah.
Let's see if
I don't know where I'm putting I don't know where I'm putting all of this, because I'm not gonna have this extra layer of desk. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have no clue.
Sell the drum.
Heck no. What? I use that to make money. I already sold the other ones to get this because I like this color. So I mean,
yeah, but I like seeing all your action figures.
I'm gonna figure out a way to get the action figures in there. But my new desk has LED lights on it, so yeah, so I can work on my lighting.
But before this turns into a Discord call, let's wrap things up.
Yep. So Ranger Nation will be live this week. Shameless plug. Ranger Nation will be live. Jake's Lost Levels will be live on Sunday tomorrow, because you're watching this on Saturday.
Yep.
So Jake's Lost Levels will be live tomorrow. Also be on the lookout, because soon and very soon we'll be getting to Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, where Jake will be the special guest for the entire season of that. So yeah,
you say that, but it's like March. Soon enough, it's like like 6 months.
In 2026. He's been booked since we started in April. So I mean, we're moving. We're moving. But guys, like, share, and subscribe.
Hey, you know what? I'll be a guest on Ranger Nation before GTA 6.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, before Spider-Man 4 drops too. Yeah. Yep. But guys, we will catch you all next time. Any final song, Darren?
Akuna. No, just
skip it, bip, bip, bibbity, bip, bip, bop.